Hello and welcome to Wrestling with the Divine, episode 2. I'm your host, Drew Renee, and I'm so excited to be sharing this with you. This interview is with a dear friend who is an amazing artist. And also, this interview features a future life progression. So you get to witness what it's like to work with me one-on-one. It is a condensed version. However, you get to see all the amazing benefits of going into your future. I do want to give credit where credit is due. Some of the line of questioning I learned from my previous interviewee, Ann Jers, from doing sessions with her, from doing her meditations and reading her books. She is someone who really inspires me. But back to the guest for today's episode. Shirley Harvey is an artist and channel creating visual transmission paintings of people's fullest soul expression, which bring people back into alignment with their path and purpose in a deep and powerful way. You actually get to see in the background one of her amazing sacred soul paintings. So definitely check that out. And let's just dive right in. And I just want to say welcome, Shirley, to Wrestling with the Divine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. And, my first question to you is, how are you wrestling with the divine?
I love this question because when you just told me you were going to ask me it, I was like, I remember doing a painting once of me like wrestling, like a mouse wrestling like a jellyfish. And I remember thinking at the time, like I'd been, like it was my wrestling with myself or the divine, like almost like resistance to doing stuff in the world. And it's like, and I remember thinking, God, I feel like I'm just wrestling jellyfish. Like, because it was just, and I realized it's like I feel like, do I wrestle the divine? I feel like I wrestle myself until I embrace the divine.
Ooh.
And it's like, when I remember that the divine is just sort of stood there going, have you quite finished, Shirley? Like, have you quite finished yet? And I'm rolling around on the floor going, this is so hard, this is so hard. Oh. And the divine's just like, dear Shirley, I'm here when you're ready. And then I sort of stand up and go, oh, there you are, okay. And then I sort of shovel sheepishly over and things start flowing really beautifully again. And so I love the title of this state, like your channel, because it just is so true. And I feel like we just wrestle so much with our own internal mess and shit. And like for a long time I've really wrestled with God as a man, and like God as this judgmental white dude with a big beard going, no, you cannot. And it's took so much repatterning for me to shift that. And I really had to spend like a good year with like goddess and not God, and like mother, daughter, Holy Spirit, which actually someone told me that yesterday it's actually mother, daughter, crone, mother, maiden, crone. And the crone was removed by the church and replaced with the Holy Spirit, and obviously the Father, Son instead of the mother, daughter. And so I remember having this revelation that like God is a like God that I was sort of taught about in Christianity, like when I grew up in the church, like going to church, was this like all loving, all nurturing, like God is love. And I never felt like that from this like white judgmental dude guy being an arsehole in the sky. And then I suddenly felt like mother love was like all that God should be. Like it was like, oh my God, it's motherly love. It's not like man love. It's not father love. So, and now I've really reached a place of like the divine is completely non-gender now, and is always a holy union of equal masculine and feminine energy. And I feel really like in a good place with that and not wrestling that anymore.
I love that. And I feel that energy kind of emanating from the painting that's behind you. And I just want to tell everyone who's watching kind of how we met. So we met in a Kiminami course called Well Blanked Woman. And you can guess what that is. And I can't,
You've ducked.
Yes. Woman. And I decided to start a tapping group, and I met Shirley. She came to pretty much almost every session. And eventually I found out that she is a master in divine feminine energy and channeling that for people. And I asked her, I was like, well, I'm sure the ladies would love this. So could you lead us through a divine feminine meditation? And it was this absolutely beautiful experience that everyone in the group loved. And it was, I mean, it was the beginning of a friendship, really. And I freaking love Shirley. And I'm so happy that you're on my show. And you're my first interviewee at the start of this new format where I'm really embracing who I am in this world. So I thank you for being here. And I'm just so happy.
Thank you for being you, because you were just like the best thing this year, and it's just been amazing. And I love our spring cleaning sessions, and I love our weekly calls, and I was so excited to be on this. And when you told me about this channel, and I'm like, so good.
And it's so crazy because this channel has evolved. I mean, I think it's been maybe 6 months or so, and just the changes in me and the changes in the content that the audience will see is crazy. But really, this is about you. I won't talk about the channel. This is about you, Shirley. And I want you to tell us the amazing, amazing artistry that you create in this world.
Okay, so I channel these crazy ass sacred soul paintings. So I call them crazy ass because I still don't really know how I do it. I just get the duck out of my own way. and what happens is just how a channel or a medium can channel through these messages, I channel through these really potent visual transmissions that are paintings and are stunning and beautiful in their own right, and yet are sort of embedded with all these transmissions and activations for their soul. And it sort of comes from their higher soul essence and their spirit team. And each painting is different. Each painting has so many layers and transmissions that are all so unique to each person and beautiful. Like there is one behind me. You're right. I forget it's because I've got my studio is just here, and there's three, I don't have the biggest space in the world. As you can see, my dining table is behind, so I'm kind of surrounded by my paintings. And yeah, people have these paintings and have amazing upgrades in their life, all sorts of things. Everyone who's had a painting has moved house multiple times, or at least once, to somewhere better.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh my god, it's weirdly coincidental. Even someone had just bought one back in September. She's been living at her mum's with her boyfriend and their newborn baby for 2 years, and they're suddenly moving across the country, and there's been stagnancy there, and then they're moving. I've had all kinds of crazy stuff like that, and with these paintings. And sometimes I also just channel works that aren't related to someone. It's almost exactly the same process. It's something wants to come through me, and then they will end up with someone buys them eventually. But it's funny because they hold really high healing and transmissions for so many people. And I had this one painting, and so many women contacted me about buying it. And I always say, if it's your painting, you will know. But sit with it, because it clearly has a message for you. And so many women had really powerful transmissions from it and real potent activations from it, but it wasn't their painting. But then when the woman whose painting it was stepped forward and bought it, just the transformation, just even on her photos and on her video, because it was behind her, and she there was just such radiance. And it was it finally was reflecting, she'd done all this work to be this amazing goddess in the world and this pleasure queen and doing this all this amazing coaching, but her space hadn't kind of reflected that. And then all she did was take down some black and white photos and hang this painting behind her, and it was just boom,
upgrade.
Yeah, massive. And you could just it's just suddenly she's just stepped fully into her role and path and purpose. And so that's the magic of these paintings. And don't ask me how I do it. I don't know. I just get out of the way. I spend a lot of time meditating, sleeping, in pleasure. Yes. Connecting with the divine and not wrestling it. And then it's just beautiful.
Oh, I love that. And I want to challenge anyone who's watching this video to gaze at that painting for as
long as you can and see what happens. Because just looking at the pictures I've experienced, because she puts them all over Facebook. And I remember there was one painting, it was like predominantly like blue and green. And I'm like, dude, I feel like I will fall into like a portal or something if I look for in it too long. And I knew that your paintings were amazing because I see them, but I didn't even know the transformation that people have in their lives once they buy them and then they hang them. So
yeah,
I've learned so much about you. Like that's
yeah. I mean, and I find something new every time. I like every painting. There's still learning for me of like just like when you say portals, that's kind of exactly what they are. And I downloaded a couple of years ago that they anchor into the light grids on Mother Earth, in Mother Earth, around Mother Earth, and they sort of help form light grids at heart level, because it's like sort of that's where you reach out and connect at heart level. So they also aid in the transcendence of Mother Earth. And I was described when I downloaded this information that they were almost like the light army. And so for light workers, for really powerful, light workers doing not just like, love and light and waving fucking incense around, but like doing the powerful, dirty work on the ground of like shifting consciousness for themselves and for their clients, and like really powerfully making shifts in the world. And that these were kind of like the light army. And it's funny because at that time I painted like a series of 6 that year, and like they just didn't sell. Like so many people were interested in them and then they just didn't sell. And they were like, at that time I was charging like really low prices for my paintings. And they were all in my bedroom. Like I had like, no, not all, I had 3 in my bedroom. And I was always told never to worry about who would have them, where they would go, where they would hang, and it would always be divinely right and perfect. And I felt like for a while my bedroom was like this huge portal of energy. And then one day, one of the paintings that this woman like owned, she actually was sort of upped and moved across the country. And she took her painting, like everything went in a moving van, her painting went on the airplane with her. So she moved from like Niagara to Vancouver. And I kid you not, within like 3 days, I sold 4 of these paintings. And it was like, the light army has mobilized was the message I had. And it was just like, they literally like up and left and off they all went. And they all moved out, like they all moved house, they all moved places. And it was crazy. And I was selling them for much more at that point. And like my prices had raised. And yeah, so like they're like entities in their own right. Like I don't ever feel like it's my painting. I feel like it's what comes through me.
And how long have you been painting?
All my life. So I used to literally hide under the dining table as a child, was surrounded by cuddly toys with my cat, drawing pictures of animals. And then like I ended up going to university and studying a fine art degree. And then I hated it. I hated all the conceptualization and the bullshit. I hated it. So when I left university, I never did art again for 12 years. And I trained as a homeopath. I spent like 8 years training as a homeopath. And I studied homeopathic medicine and energy medicine. And I worked with clients, and I'd be exhausted working one-on-one. And just so depleted after like an hour and a half with someone, like not nice stories as well. Like people go through shit. People have really difficult lives. And I remember thinking there must be a better way to heal than this that doesn't deplete me. And then I remember like we had the chance to move from England to Canada. And literally a week before we left, I was in a mentor group and I said, I don't want to be a homeopath anymore. I'd want to be an artist. And then I moved here, and then I started drawing animals, like illustrations of animals doing human things. I opened an Etsy shop. And I'd sit there with my cat drawing animals, and I was like, things don't change much in like 40 years. And when I used to do the animal illustrations, that's when I became aware that I was able to channel, because it was almost like these little animals were entities, and I wouldn't know what I was going to paint. And then suddenly, like, the eyes would appear, and I'd be like, oh, there you are, hello little rabbit, or hello little elephant, or and
wow.
So that was, I had my Etsy shop. I closed it again this week. funnily enough, because I don't do anything with it. So it's just, I mean, I think it's at like $60 in the last couple of months because I've done nothing with it. So I actually closed it. But 3 years ago, I just had this whim to do large scale abstract paintings, and then that's what started happening. Was I was channeling these amazing pieces of art that still blow me away, and it's like magical. Like I can't, like I get so excited at how magical my job is. Like,
I mean, it is magical, and I want to point out a few things, that your paintings are literally an attunement to the individual, but also to the earth and to the individual's higher self, which is amazing. And also, I love the fact that you asked, when you were being drained from doing the homeopathy kind of world, and in that world, there has to be something better. And that kind of small question and that curiosity about what else is there led you into this whole new direction. So I want to bring light into that, because it can be that simple for people to find their path and their calling that doesn't drain the crap out of them, just by asking men, what else is possible? Is there something better? And just being,
I have to laugh because that question led to me moving halfway around the world, splitting up with my husband 3 months later, basically losing every fucking thing I ever had, starting from scratch. Being a single mom, like it's been, was it the easier option? I don't know, but it's certainly not one I would never change for the world of me, because I realized that I had gone off my path and was somewhere over here, and it was kind of a little close, so it didn't feel off, but it always felt off. And I wasn't happy, and now it's here, and there's been some real, there's been some really difficult times in the last few months.
But have you created, you've spun them into gold.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've always embraced with my art and with my life is the shadow and the beauty and the gifts in the darkness of what can be birthed there. And so I'm never one to be love and light, because I spend a lot of time wrestling Hades in the underworld.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and always I remember reading Brené Brown's book, one of her books, Rising Strong, I think it is. And she said, when you're face down in the dirt, just stop and have a look around, because sometimes there's good stuff down there. And to me, there's always magic there, and I always kind of have to go there to create the artwork that I need to. And so now it's just oh, look, we're back down there again.
Right. What can I find? What treasures are underneath?
Come on, Hades, bring it on.
More this time. Oh,
so yeah.
No, and I definitely agree with you. Really diving deep into the crap that is holding me back from stuff. That's where the gold is.
Isn't that what we put on our gardens to we put manure on the gardens to nurture the soil and to create growth, and so
that's a good metaphor.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a bit of poop.
So I want, can you let my audience know how they can get one of these sacred soul paintings? If I'm saying that correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, so if you're friends with Drew, you can always friend me on Facebook, and if you're mean, I'll not let you in. But if you're really nice and you're friends with Drew, then I'll let you be my friend, and then that's where I do a lot of my sharing. But also I have soulartbyshirley.com, which is my website, soulartbyshirley.com. And I'm not very good at updating it, but I am trying to be better. And I am trying to be much more blogging more regularly. But you could always see what art's up for sale as well there, and contact me if you're interested in a commission piece.
Right. And how do they, so what's the process if someone wants to get a commission piece by you?
Well, so generally they have either heard me in a podcast or on an interview, or they know me, or they see my stuff, and then they approach me and just say, I want one. And I'll tell them the price, and then sometimes I never hear from them again. And then some people come back and or like I don't hear from them forever, and then they suddenly come back and they're like, pay me. Some people just put a deposit down straight away. Yeah, and it's just, you know, and I'll normally jump on a Zoom call with them and just talk to them about the process, what happens, like, you know, a lot of what I've shared today, like just some of the downloads, how it comes through, how it's different for everyone.
Because you're channeling messages for them too, even on the discovery call.
Yeah, so what tends to happen is paintings get built up in layers, and it's like each time I paint a layer, it's like I'll have a transmission, and then I'll just like message. I mean, I don't make a big song and dance about it. I just most of the time use WhatsApp, and like it's, you know, 10 minutes of back and forth, and then it's done. And it's enough, like, because, you know, as well, like I'm one of these people, like, you can say a lot in a very few words, and you can say nothing in a lot of words. So my time is precious. I prefer the first option. She says talking 100 miles an hour non-stop.
But no, and I will say this about Shirley, and I mean, you've really been that really divine maternal influence for me since we've met, and just being so freaking wise and like seeing me in the highest light when I don't see myself in that, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's real.
And I think that's one of my gifts, right? Is I just see you in all of your completion and all of your beauty and all of your power. And like, I see everyone like that. And so I can really channel into that like highest essence of who you are.
Yeah.
Because that's what I see, right?
Yeah.
I don't see any of the like shit underneath that you like might be thinking is going on, but like to me it's like, yeah, no.
And yeah, I mean, again, I'm so glad that we met and that we've really built this friendship, and I'm just curious to see in a year's time or even 6 months where we're going to be. But so this is something new for my show. Is I'm going to interview people. They're going to talk about their business or their philosophies, but then I'm going to take them on a journey into their best possible future. And so Shirley, we're going to go into your best possible future a year from now, 5 years from now. And I'm curious, is there anything that you really are curious about wanting to know?
About my future?
Yes.
That's an interesting question, because I'm all like, I know what I want, but like now I'm like, oh, I get to ask what I want to know. I don't know.
Right. If we left the session and we had only one thing could get answered, what do you want to know the most about?
Do you know what? It's weird, because I think maybe me a year ago would have been like, I want to know if I'm going to be a success. I want to know if I'm going to do this. I want to know if it's all going to work out. And I really don't feel like that now, because I feel so cocksure of myself. No, I feel so confident in where I'm at on my path and my relationship with the divine, that it's like I know it's going to be awesome, whatever. Like,
yeah.
So I guess it's just exciting, like more like, oh, I wonder what I can create.
I wonder what. Wait, I love that question. I'm just making note of that. I wonder what I can create. That's going to be our question. I wonder what Shirley can create. All right. So I'm going to pause recording, and then we'll be back shortly, and Shirley will be exploring her future, and you'll get to listen in. I want you to tell me the very first things that you see, or the very first impressions that you have as you begin to understand where you are and what is happening around you.
Feels like I am on dry land, like dry, like desert, like arid land. It's like sandy. But there is greenery.
Are there people around?
No. Who's a lizard?
There's no lizard. What color is the lizard?
It's green.
Mm. And when you look down at your feet, what do you see?
It's like dry, pebbly earth. It's warm.
What kind of shoes are you wearing?
They're like sandals, or I've got bare feet. I can't really figure it out. I feel like I'm somewhere like Mexico.
Mm. And what clothing are you wearing?
So this is weird because the painting behind me is actually for a woman who lives in Mexico. And after I sent her the pictures of it yesterday and these downloads of what was happening, she sent me these photos of this place she'd gone in Mexico where there was all these beautiful hand-dyed fabrics, and she was showing me these clothes she'd bought for herself, and they were super beautiful, really vibrant colored, long length, like flary skirts, like really fitted at the waist, like and like that's the sense of like what's coming through is just like these twirling fabrics. Like imagine like a skirt flare, like when you twirl and it all flares out.
Oh.
These like fabrics and colors and this richness of like pinks and oranges and yellows and turquoise and
that sounds beautiful.
there's a peacefulness. I feel a very deep peace, a centeredness of just like, sorry?
How did you get to this place?
I don't know. I went through your portal. Just landed there. Like spinning down my feet like Mary Poppins. I feel I've walked there from the local village or somewhere where I live close by.
Okay. And how long have you been in this place? Where I'm assuming it's Mexico?
Could be, yeah.
What brought you there?
I don't know. I feel like we're all here as a family. And we just followed a hunch and came. And it felt like a very beautiful, lovely place to be for a bit. I see those lovely, like almost like cacti, but I don't know whether they are cacti, like, but you get them in very arid, dry landscapes, like those green plants with the very vibrant pink flowers on them.
Oh yeah, that sounds awesome.
And it's like, you know, these vibrant pinks and then the turquoise of the sea, and like there's definitely like the sea and the whitish yellow sands and this very blue sky.
Can you tell me what year it is?
2024.
Nice. A couple years from now. And what else is happening in your life? How's your business?
Feels like a dream come true. Like it's just taking care of itself, providing all my needs, very successful, and an absolute joy. Like, so it's like a breeze. The whole thing feels breezy. Breezy, easy.
So no wrestling. And how did it get to that point where it's easy breezy?
It's already started was the message I just had. Like the work I'm doing now. So where I'm at right now feels like I am reaping the harvest of many years of hard work. And yet what I'm being shown is like, this is laying the really amazing foundations of this like new paradigm of like breezy, easy, like like, I'm really leaning into this place of like allowing it to be easy, allowing myself to be supported by the divine, allowing like the miracles, like not controlling everything. And it feels like that's like the starting point for this future vision.
Where
That like it's already started. What did you say, sorry?
Where do you feel that in your body?
Sort of my heart, but then it kind of sunk a bit lower into my solar plexus and my tummy.
And so can you tell me a little bit more about that foundation that you're building for yourself? What does that look like in 2021?
More of the same is what I'm getting. Like what's been happening the last 3 months with my mindset, with my like releasing control, with like really, really retraining into the parasympathetic nervous system. It's like more of the same. So just like almost spiraling up of like just rinse and repeat, like deep, like, and dropping into deeper levels of trust, deeper levels of surrender, deeper levels of ease, deeper levels of just knowing and letting go.
I love that. And are there any things that maybe you implemented to get to that easy breezy place that you're not doing just yet? Any people maybe or courses that could help you?
I got a yes, but we're not going to tell you. like you'll figure it out as part of your process and part of your training of trusting and letting go and knowing that it's all right. It's like,
what else is happening in Shirley's life in 2024? Is that correct?
yeah. I feel like Stephen is still around, my partner, and my son is still around. But my son's a lot more independent now.
Ooh.
Obviously, he's 4 years older, so he will be like 16, I guess.
Grown up. How does he get that way? What helps him create that independence?
Again, I'm being shown that the foundation I'm setting now is really, really important and paramount. That like taking him out of the schooling system and putting him into this virtual school, which is what's happening literally right now in our lives. Like this is a massive healing stepping stone for him. And it's not a permanent, like he will re-enter the schooling system, I'm shown, but like this giving him what he needs to cocoon right now is going to really kind of help him blossom into like following his own curiosities in life.
Ooh. Sounds like he's lucky to have a mom like you, Shirley.
He might disagree.
The 16-year-old's version of him. Agree? You disagree?
Who knows? Who knows with teenagers?
Depends on the time.
Depends how cruel and embarrassing I'm feeling. It feels like there's just an ease and happiness around us all.
It was beautiful. Is there anything else that you should know about this future timeline for you?
I was just shown literally like like someone dumping piles of money on me, like
Ooh.
like not that like that, like almost just a like okay, so it's not like that happens in the future. It's like they're literally like, it's almost like a sarcastic, well, of course that fucking happened. Like, of course, like you are superbly wealthy and doing very well, and your business is just doing its thing, and everything you ever dreamed of for it. So yeah, that feels fun. I'll get a dump truck of money.
I want that. But
it almost have, you know, like when you're stood on a street corner and there's a puddle and a car goes past and it's like in your face. That was the sense, like that was like the bit, like I'm just stood there and it was like it's like, oh right, okay, fair enough. I hear you. Like it's always just like, well, of course it's yours by divine right, so it's yours, so shut up.
Beautiful. So I want you to imagine a door in front of you. And this is a very, very futuristic door. And this door is going to take you to your best possible timeline for the year 2024. And just start to look at it. And I want you to tell me what feelings are coming up in your body, what sensations are there.
Sort of tingles in my legs. My breathing is quite shallow.
So I want you to get closer and closer. And you can walk up very closely to it. What's coming up?
Yeah, there's a real like
Because this is your best possible timeline. We've seen, I mean, good things are happening no matter what. But let's put some razzle dazzle on your future. Why not? So just take a deep breath. And when you're ready, open the door and step through into your best possible future in the year 2024. And just tell me what you see.
I was just greeted by my man just with a massive smile on his face. Just deep love. It's just a sense of like real deep security and love and arrival.
Ooh, arrival. Tell me more.
Like, as a couple, we haven't had the easiest start to a relationship. Like, we've had a lot of like difficult things to traverse that perhaps newer couples shouldn't really have yet. Like, maybe had we been together 10 years, then yes, but like, you know, and it's just a sense of like, we did it. Through the other side, we have arrived at our destination of just, you know.
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
What else is different?
I feel like Samuel's got his dad close by too. And his dad is happy and well and laughing. So that's a nice thing for him. It's just a deep sense of peace.
And what is happening with your business?
So I have dreams of selling my paintings for $2 million and having amazing celebrities buy them, like people I really admire and I think do amazing work in the world. And
I know.
and Keanu Reeves. And it's like, yeah, of course that's happening, of course. Like, no brainer.
Mm. Is there any additions to your business? Is there additional services or things that you offer people?
No, I feel like some of the works like are much bigger. Maybe there's definitely a studio space, and I definitely have help, like support.
What are you seeing?
And being shown like California and Los Angeles and but that's sort of managed almost like there's someone taking care of that side of things, but in a really beautiful way that doesn't feel like I'm being ripped off or have a middleman. I don't know. It's hard to feel into that. It feels like I still get to have a really beautiful private life, and that my business doesn't encroach on my life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so what did you do differently in this timeline?
I owned my badassery.
What does that feel like to own your badassery?
So last month I signed up for like this self-portrait class where you like take your own portraits. It's like photography. I did none of the course, but there was a group call yesterday, and I turned up to the group call and called myself out and said I've done nothing. Like real issues of showing up and being visible. And the woman who was running it actually really helped me see that, like, it's like I've not wanted to show this side of me that's coming through, this new part of me. It's like I've been holding on to this past part of me, and there's this new part of me that's really starting to see all I've achieved in the last 7 years and all I've been through, and just and all my life, and just how badass I am. And she was like, allow your photos to show that. And it was like allowing this side of me to come through of just like, yeah, look at me and what I did. Like we're ducking hell, yeah. And it's like just owning all of that at a so much deeper level, and really allowing that to be seen, you know, in how I'm showing up on social media with my business, like all my marketing's on social media. So, and how I'm showing up in the world, allowing that to be seen is the, like, at its deepest level is the key.
Where do you feel that in your body?
It's like a chest thing.
Loving it.
Which is funny because my boobs have been super painful. Now I know why. There's a badass bursting out.
So I want you to see the future version, the best possible future version of Shirley in front of you. Can you describe her to me?
Oh, she's just radiant and beautiful.
And what message?
Colourful, radiant, beautiful, graceful, easeful. Like at peace with herself.
What messages does she have for you?
You've got this. Mindset, mindset, mindset. And enjoy the chocolate chip cookies.
Oh.
I made myself some gluten-free ones last night. They're so good.
And how can you ask her how you know when you're embodying that badass version of you? How do you know that you're on that best possible timeline for yourself?
Head up, heart out. Which reminds me of something I read in like Florence Scovel Shinn's The Game of Life and had to play it. I was like, I think it's not, maybe not that book, it was one of it. It was like how poise magnetizes. In fact, I need to say it. Like, fear and impatience demagnetize, poise magnetizes. And that really like struck a chord with me this last few days. So there's this like head up, heart out.
I love that. Is there anything else you need to know about embodying your best possible badass future?
Drink more water.
It's important.
Yes, Mom. God. So she just giggle snorted when I like, as if she was like, had done something naughty and got away with it, and it was really funny. And it's just this, the message is like I can still be my like playful impish self and be a super badass. Like both can inhabit at the same time. There is no either.
I love that. You can do both. You can do it all.
Yeah.
How are you feeling interacting with the future version of yourself, Shirley?
I don't know, because she looks loads older than she should do at 2024. So I feel like something from even older like has come forward.
Oh, really?
I feel like I'm talking to the crone version of me. Either that or letting my grave grow through fully is really quite a difference maker. How do I feel talking to you, older self? Good.
What's lighting up in your body?
I won't say something's lighting up. Well, actually my third eye is lighting up, and there is just peace in my heart.
Beautiful.
Oh, and my room just lit up.
Oh.
Nice. Oh yeah. There's like this huge bright golden light just streaming out of my sacral chakra right now. Nice. Hello.
And is this something that you can envision to step into your best possible future self?
There's something about letting the light in here, like becoming the light body, letting the light seep into my cells and my physic, so that my physicality is not so dense, and yet it's still very grounded into the earth.
And how can you do that?
I don't know. Have a nap. No, in all seriousness, they're saying have a nap. I love napping.
Oh my God.
So I feel like what they're saying is like, yeah, just, I've got this. I'm already doing the work. It's already paying off. And breathe.
Beautiful. Good. So I want you to envision your best possible future self standing in front of you, looking at her aura and the beautiful colors that emanate from it. And I want you to step into your best possible future version of yourself. And tell me how that feels.
Just feels like a more expressed, more beautiful version of me. Like not more beautiful, but like more beautiful because I'm more fully expressed right now. Like, and it's what's showing me, like she stopped looking like an old woman and started looking like me again. And it's like, I can be her now. Like it's like allowing more of me out.
You don't have to wait for permission.
Yeah. And it's not like I have to wait till I've got all these witches before I can dress like that or feel like that or be like that. It's like, it's all here now and it's all accessible for me now.
I love that. All right, awesome, Shirley. So we just wrapped up your FLP session, and how are you feeling?
Really good. Really good. It just feels really reaffirming and easy peasy, easy breezy.
And like just your experience during the session and as I was guiding you into a very, very deep state of relaxation, like how was that for you?
Oh, awesome. You're like a complete natural at it. So I completely trust in you. And I just like, yeah, it's like super easy to do with you. Your voice is just so wonderful and it just lulls you down. Like it's just awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I felt really good. And it felt, you know, I always have like that apprehension of like, what if I don't see anything? What if I don't imagine anything? And
this whole
like, it's like, whatever. It always comes.
Yeah, always.
There's always some bizarre, like weird things you imagine. And then it's just, it makes sense. And yeah.
Right. And I loved how you were making connections between your friend was showing you some stuff from Mexico. And then you saw that in 2024. So, you know, those little things are like just seeds and they'll grow. And so how are you feeling about your future?
Yeah, good.
Smaller paintings.
It just feels like, yeah, I'm on the right track. I know I'm doing the right thing and just taking the steps, and like the ultimate long term, like it's a long game I'm playing and I'm playing it well. And like, it's just as much joy in the journey as the destination.
Yes.
Like what was interesting was actually there wasn't really much there in the future for me to sort of grab hold of or like sort of be like, oh yeah, like it was more just like, you've got this, you're doing it already, enjoy it. Like,
yeah.
And you can fully express now. Like, you don't need to wait to this future self. Like, this is you now. You can wear those vibrant colors, feel that badassery in you, express that self. You know, like, it's just there for you. It's not somewhere else.
Yes, I love that. It's like bringing that future self to you right now in the present.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely beautiful. You don't have to wait for permission from anyone else. You just make the choice and you decide, like Julia Wells always says, you just decide. You're gonna be a badass, and then you just do it. You act in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything else you feel like you need that you think would be helpful, I can't speak right now, for people to know about going into the session?
Like, A, it's awesome. B, you're in the best hands with Drew always. Like, you've heard me when I watched you doing that tapping group again for like Kim's Vagina Kung Fu, which she's now, of course, Kim's now employed her because like she's the best. And of course that was going to happen. And like when I was watching the replay, I was just like such a proud mama bear. And I was also just like, what the hell is this not your full-time job? Like, you like this is your full-time job now. And it's just like about time, because you are such a natural, and like you're in such good, amazing hands with Drew. Like, she's such this special soul that has this ability to like quantum leap you into places that you had no idea you were going to. So
quantum leap you, I love that.
Yeah, she's like, jump on tight on my quantum leaping machine.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. You're about to say something about deciding.
I can't remember.
Okay. But yeah, no, this was an awesome experiencing your future, witnessing you experience your future with you, Shirley, and I can't wait.
Well, you're going to be part of it, girl. Like, me and you, like, you're going to be my Hollywood contact.
I'm like, oh my God, is that Keanu Reeves?
You're like, my mate Keanu's here. He wants one of your paintings. And I'm be like, there you go.
I hunted him down.
And you know I'm doing a film with him next week. Of course you are. And I'm selling him a painting. Of course we are.
Gonna kick ass in the world.
Poor Keanu, his ears are like probably burning.
No, I'm gonna get blocked totally, but no. Thank you so much for coming on this show, and Shirley's contact information will be down below. You can reach out to her on Instagram or Facebook if you're interested in one of her amazing, amazing, divine, sacred soul paintings, and reach out to her and change your life with art.
Thank you. Yes, do. And if you know Keanu Reeves,
buy one too.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. That was awesome.